freedom to shop and buy online. So you can meet the road ahead with confidence. Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, helping you drive forward.
Welcome back. Joining me now is House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I know you're busy. Thanks for making time tonight.
Thank you. My pleasure. I wish it were under different circumstances. I say that every night. Thank you for what you're doing to spread the word about the challenges we face.
Sure.
Holy, do you want to Nice. You want this? Okay, I got it.
All right, it is 5:30. Let's see, we've got 59 people in the room. Welcome. We'll probably start pretty close to 5:30. I know we've got quite a few more people registered, and as I'm saying that, more people are entering the room. It's up to 62, so we'll probably just wait another minute or two. If we don't have one, that would be a great time to grab a glass of water or to kind of clear your screen so you can really focus on the pitches. We'll see you in just a second.
So
All right. I think I'm getting some end of day sunlight in here, so I'll try not to do any kind of visual tricks as I'm sitting here as the sun is setting. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to virtual pre-flight pitch night. We're so glad that you are here. We're up to 75 people in the room. My name is Bryn Plummer. I'm the Vice President of Inclusion and Community Relations at the Entrepreneur Center, and I will be walking you through the pitches tonight. So for anyone who has not been to one of these before, we conduct these 3 times a year, and they're really a celebration of the entrepreneurs who've completed our pre-flight program. Pre-flight is a 14-week program that kind of takes you from, I have an idea to I have a standing up business. So I just want to shout out some of the people who are on the call. We've got all of our folks who will be pitching tonight who are graduates of PreFlight. I see quite a few EC members, people who are program alumni, people who are prospective program participants, some of our advisors who've worked with these entrepreneurs across their time in the cohort, and then some of our community partners. So I see Arts and Business Council is here, Professor Kohu from Lipscomb University. Really glad to have you all here because it takes a lot of people to get your idea off the ground. With that, let's just do a little bit of housekeeping. One, if you have not, before we get into some of the more programmatic elements, if you have not already done so, please make sure just to mute yourself. That way we won't hear any of your background. It is right around dinner time, so I understand, and we all understand if you're kind of running around and making things happen. If you can mute yourself, we can all focus on the content. And PreFlight is something that happens all year round, and we are able to service between 60 and 75 different entrepreneurs each year because of the support of our sponsors. So Asurion, Silver Falcon Capital, EO, or Entrepreneurs Organization Nashville, and Launching this year, all partners who were part of this experience with us. Our CEO, Jane Allen, potentially, let me see if Jane is on.
I am here, Bren.
Yes, okay, wonderful. So we're gonna have Jane introduce those sponsors, but before she does, we just want to give her a second to introduce herself. Jane is actually traveling right now. She was one of the people who, like many of us, had her power knocked out by the storm. She just got that call from NES that her power is back on, so she's making her way back to Nashville to try to get to the new normal, as it were. So I'll hand it off to Jane to tell you a little bit more about the Nashville Entrepreneur Center and to introduce some of our partners. Jane?
Great. Thank you so much, Bren, and thanks each and every one of you. And I do apologize. I'm a little more casual than normal. You know, it's just a crazy time in which we live. But what I love about the entrepreneurs are we are adaptable and we keep moving forward. So we are excited tonight, and we are proud of the entrepreneurs who have gone through our pre-flight program. As Bren said, it's a 14-week program for people who have an idea, who are wondering, am I really an entrepreneur? Is this really for me? And is this idea really a business? And so we are so excited to have 7 of you pitching tonight. I also just want to say a special thank you, because this is our team that went virtual first. All of our programs went virtual. Pre-flight was on that very first day of the very first week that we went virtual. And so you all have just been fabulous at adaptation and at keep moving forward. So from my vantage point, you've got a bit of being that entrepreneurial spirit already inside of you. At the same time, we really do want to thank our advisors, because they too adapted and they continue to give advice, albeit virtually. And then obviously our sponsors, and all of you make this possible. So a special thanks, as Brent said, Asurion, Silver Falcon Capital, EO Nashville, and Launch Tennessee. And now I'd like to introduce you to a few of our partners, and we're going to start with Emily O'Grady, Vice President, Product Development of Asurion. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Asurion is proud to support the Nashville Entrepreneur Center's pre-flight program along with in-flight and Twindy. We are super excited for all of you to pitch your ideas. Sorry, can you guys hear me? Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Yep, you sound great.
Cool. We're excited for all of you to pitch your ideas this evening, and really wish you all the best. My name is Emily O'Grady. Like Jane said, I am a Vice President of Product Development with Asurion. I've been here 8 years. And because I've been here 8 years, I can attest to the fact that while we are super large and growing every day, we are rooted in the Nashville community. Proud of that, and we are proud to have maintained a really entrepreneurial culture. I like to describe us as fast-paced. We adjust quickly. We encourage great ideas to come from everywhere. You know, I'll mention one example of how I've seen this play out at Asurion. Last year, I had a manager on my team who said, hey, we've seen a lot of power having in-person experts for places where we can't have a human. what if we did that via video? So we deploy the power of our assuring experts via video. And I'm proud to say that we are deploying that as a pilot with one of the largest carriers in the country, mobile carriers in the country. So excited to show that an idea can come from anywhere in the organization and be a wild success. We're hoping to hear some of your great ideas tonight, and I'm really looking forward to this evening and looking forward to especially seeing where all of you land and your ideas will go. So best of luck.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much. And I can't say enough how helpful it's been to have Asurion advisors pop in to support entrepreneurs. And they were there the very first night of pre-flight for this class and have gone above and beyond. So thank you, Asurion. They also happen to be in our literal backyard, or we're really rather in their backyard, over there at our home at 41 Peabody Street. So y'all are close partners to us. We so appreciate it. Thank you so much. Samira Lowe, who is the executive director of the National Chapter of Entrepreneurs Organization. For folks who don't know about, I won't get into Samira's piece, but for folks who don't know, Entrepreneurs Organization is probably one of the hallmark organizations of our town, one of the early organizers of entrepreneurs in our city. And the body that it comprises is just full of so many amazing people who have made Nashville the place it is to call home. So with that, I will hand it off to Samira to share a little bit more about EO.
Sure. So EO is actually a global organization with over 14,000 members worldwide. Nashville happens to be the largest US chapter, and we're the third largest in the world, just behind Tokyo and Mumbai. So, you know, to be a member of EO, you need a business with at least $1 million in sales, and you have to be the founder, co-founder, controlling shareholder of that business. We also have a program called Catalyst. And you need 250,000 minimum revenue to be in that program. They are both amazing. We surround all of our members with tons of resources, and I would offer some of those to you guys. If you are in need of support and resources, be sure to go to eonashville.com/united, and you can kind of see lots of really amazing things that all of our strategic alliance partners have shared with our members to kind of, you know, support them during this time. So appreciate all that you guys are doing. I love the EC. All of our members are very supportive of the Entrepreneur Center, and just the whole partnership with them has been just a vital part of our success. And we wish all of you guys the best.
Samira, thank you so much. And we really do hope that we grow more entrepreneurs into EO members. So that's our goal. So we see y'all as a huge part of the continuum of support for entrepreneurs in Nashville. And glad to see that you're all here for the smaller businesses as well. It means a lot to each and every one of us, for sure. Thank you, Samira. And finally, we have a friend of the EC. He's been a friend of the EC for a very long time, which is interesting to say. It feels like from the minute he was interested in entrepreneurship as a college student, he had found his way to the EC. Chris Hatch, who is here representing Launch Tennessee, which is one of our closest partners in the work. They oversee the deployment of entrepreneurial support across the state of Tennessee. They happen to be housed here in Nashville. So I was on a phone call with them today. It's not infrequent to be on the phone with them 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week for each of us, because they are such trusted partners in this work. Chris, are you there? Let's see. Chris, if he's here, now's the time to make himself known. So I think I heard okay. If Chris joins, we'll make sure we give Chris time. You know how it's these past 72 hours since the storm have been wild. So some people have internet, some people don't have internet, some people have electricity, some people don't. If Chris joins, we'll make sure that he's able to share a little bit more with you about Launch Tennessee. If you've never heard of them before, if you only know a little bit about them, I encourage you to look them up. They have tons of resources around entrepreneurship across the state of Tennessee. And they also have a job board, which I know for a lot of people, there's a lot of turbulence in the job market right now, but they keep that pretty active, including current job openings. And there are actually a lot of startups across Nashville hiring now. You may hear my dog in the background. Please forgive me, this new world that we're in. All right, if we don't have Chris, I think we're ready to move into the part that brings you here tonight, the part that everyone is excited for. We have 7 pitches tonight from 7 entrepreneurs. We have a number of different concepts. Some of them are service related, service delivery places. Some of them are software as a service. Some of them are tech enabled. Some of them are very tech forward. And each of them has worked incredibly hard over the course of the first half of this year to get their idea off the ground. So some of them came to us with an idea pretty formalized, and some of them came to us with an idea sort of percolating in their brains. And I think you'll see that through not just the curriculum that we provide in PreFlight, nor just the advising, which is exceptional, of our 300 volunteer advisors that we provide, but also the community of support that they have together. They really do grow their ideas together in this cohort. So I hope you can see the fraternity that is among them, because they are all here because of one another. With that being said, some housekeeping. Again, if you join, please put yourself on mute. You are welcome to leave your camera on or camera off. That's totally up to you. We do ask if you're going to do something somewhat distracting, just make sure you turn your camera off so that it doesn't pull from the presentations. Aside from that, all the pitches will be 5 minutes or fewer, and then we will have 5 minutes for questions from our judges. You are also free to chat in questions. You can chat in questions to the field that says everyone, or you can send them directly to myself or Riley Wallace. Riley is on the line. Riley is actually the person who has been responsible for all the logistics of tonight, all the logistics of PreFlight across this first half of the year. So Riley Wallace is someone else you can chat them into. And Riley and I will be aggregating those questions for everyone who's here. And the last thing I'll say is, one of the points of coming together at the end of something like PreFlight is to celebrate the people who've taken that step, put themselves out there to start this idea. And one of the ways that we celebrate them is by giving them a huge round of applause when they finish their pitches. Now, naturally, we will probably not be able to give them a huge round of applause, but we do encourage you to use the features at your disposal to let them know that you are excited for them, proud of them, want to cheer them on and see them be successful. So you can use the chat feature, saying things like, good job, great work. I don't want to program the way that you hype these people up, but make sure you do. And then there's also opportunities to, you can add a reaction at the top of your toolbar to let them know that you're excited about what they're doing by sending a heart, sending a clapped hand, so on and so forth. So aside from that, we think this should go incredibly smoothly. We saw the pitches last night. They're strong pitches, and we believe that you will learn a lot, not just about the entrepreneurs themselves, but the concepts and the industries that they're each exploring. So we are thrilled. And if there's no other questions, concerns, comments, I think we're ready to get into some pitches. What say you? Riley, Riley, are you ready out there? I'm just going to see if Riley can give me a little thumbs up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Perfect. All right. We have our first pitch of the night. I actually met the 3 co-founders on the very first night of PreFlight. They were 3 teachers who had come into PreFlight to essentially get this issue that they had seen as teachers again and again, and not just as teachers in the year, but seeing their students go on. They have over 30 years of combined education experience. Seeing their students go on and experience these issues, they just knew there was something that needed to happen that would innovate and make more feasible their students' dreams. So I present to you College Leaps. College Leaps, take it away.
Sorry guys, can you hear me now?
You sound great.
Okay, sorry, I'll start over. Imagine going to high school for 4 years, getting a high GPA, a high ACT score, taking college classes for credit, and even getting a job after school, because your biggest dream in life is to go to college. This is Maria's dream, and Maria sits in my classroom every day. My name is Angie Allen. We are College Leaps. I'm here with my co-founders, Fran and Laura, and we would like to provide college access for all students. It's not working yet. Oh, there it goes. We see 2 types of students in our classroom. They both struggle through the college admissions process, but Jeff, his parents went to college. They also hired him a private college counselor, and anytime he has a roadblock in the process, he's able to go to them to get help. So he gets all of his financial aid. He's able to go to his dream school and fairly easily gets through the process. Then there's Maria. Maria is the student I told you about earlier. She doesn't have parents who went to school. She doesn't have a lot of assistance at school. And as she goes through the process, she has lots of questions. She doesn't exactly understand what to do. And she has to go to work every night because she is trying to save for college. Unfortunately, we see this a lot in our classroom, where deserving students don't get accepted. I'm sorry, this is not working. We see this a lot in our classroom, where deserving students do not get the opportunity that they deserve to go to school because there's so many barriers to the process. They also sometimes just give up because the process is so daunting, and then that changes the trajectory of their life forever. At College Leaps, we remove the barriers and we put all of the process in one place to make it easier for parents and students to be able to access all of the things they need. We're doing this now because almost 20 million students every year are going to college. If each student applies to just 3 schools, then that creates 26 different websites that they have to manage. That's a lot of usernames and passwords to remember, but it's not even that. It's a maze across the internet where you have to figure out what to do when and by what date and try to figure all those steps out. It's very confusing. So what we do at College Leaps is we take all of those aspects and we funnel them down into a customized guided college journey for each individual student. We organize their resources in one place, and we provide simple integrations through custom browser extensions and end-to-end encryption. So students don't have to worry about their privacy, but they also don't have to keep entering their personal information over and over and again. As I said before, almost 20 million students will be going to school, and 80% of them are going to need some form of aid, which leads to more steps in the process. Here in Tennessee, 180,000 students will attend college and need aid this next year. We plan to tap into 10% of those students in our first year of business. We're going to do this in 2 phases. Our first phase will be our freemium app, and students and parents can sign up for free for a personal account, and then they can pay to unlock our partner integrations and our coaching. Then in phase 2, we're gonna roll out to schools and education programs where they can pay $3 a student instead of $6, and they can have a classroom platform where teachers and counselors can be involved in the process. Our biggest competition at College Leaps are people. People are private consultants that work with college. They cost hundreds of dollars an hour. So most students can't afford that. The rate of students to counselors in Tennessee is 329 students to 1. So you can imagine most kids don't get much time with their counselor to talk about college one-on-one. So parents and students end up doing it themselves, and they figure out this process as they go, and they're managing those 26 websites, trying to figure out if they're doing it in the right order and by the right time. Our team are 3 teachers from here in Nashville, Tennessee. We have 31 years of combined experience, and we've walked over 2,000 students through this process. As we've done this, we've observed so many obstacles, and we've tried implementing different solutions for those obstacles in the classroom and tested the technology solutions. We've been working with our developer to develop a prototype for our app, and we are ready to begin beta testing. Tonight we begin our fundraising journey, and then in the fall we plan to release our beta testing and our MVP app, then move into our enterprise in the spring. We ask that you help us to raise $250,000 to build our mobile app and for our marketing and sales. And also, we ask that you would help us with any connections that you can make with us for education, anyone in that field tonight. Thank you, and help us to make college access available for Maria and all of our other students like her. You can reach me at Angie@collegeleaps.com or on social media. Thank you.
Yay, Angie, thank you so much. Congratulations. It's done. Now we're getting into some of the questions that people have in the chat. And again, great job. You're getting so much praise in the chat. I hope you can see that, Angie. I have a couple questions for you from a few advisors and some of the folks who are on the call. So here's the first one. How long do you expect a typical subscription to last? Is there ongoing value once a student gets accepted to a school, or do you assume they will drop off at that point?
So in the individual platform, they actually just pay to unlock the integration. So it's not a subscription service. For the schools, we would do that by calendar year. And some students will maybe use it for their junior and senior year, but we are planning to offer the freshman and sophomore as well so that they can join as a free account when they're younger. And then as they get older, they can unlock what they need. So that, I don't know if I answered it, but also my co-founders can jump on if they have additional answers there.
Co-founders, any additional answers?
I think you answered it really well, Angie.
Yes. Okay. Another question for you. Do you have intellectual property that you have protected, and what competitive barriers to entry exist?
Oh, wait. Sorry, I was muted. We haven't actually we don't have a competitor. And we don't have we're working on building that app right now. So, and then, I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
What competitive barriers to entry exist, and do you have intellectual property that you have protected?
Okay. Like I said, there's not an app that can do all one thing. So we don't necessarily have competitive barriers yet, but we'll be working, since this is going to be a lot of private user information, we're going to be in FERPA compliance and working with that to offer something that students haven't had before.
Great, a couple more questions. There is a people component to this. How do the people involved on the back end of College Leaps get compensated?
Angie, do you want to answer that one, Angie?
I can't. Can I get more clarity on the people in the back end? Are you talking about the developer? Or are you talking about
Person who asked that question, if you can put in some clarity, we'll come back. I'll ask another question. There are so many questions coming in. How will you obtain or reach the 8,000 students that you would like to reach?
Well, we're really connected here in Nashville with actually, we teach in a college prep program. So we are very connected with a lot of other schools, and we plan to start with our own connections and then also obviously keep seeking other connections with other people.
And just to add on to that, Bryn, we've been in talks with the Tennessee Promise and other programs that can help utilize this type of app to help students.
Let's see if we have other questions. I was curious about your marketing plan, like how you intend to tell the story about the students who are on the application, students who are on the app, or students who potentially could come to the app. Do you have plans to acquire or get in front of students aside from, say, partnerships?
Yes, we do. We've created a bunch of different personas for marketing purposes, and we're going to be using a lot of social media to get that networking, specifically Facebook and Instagram. And like Angie said, we have a lot of contacts with teachers, districts, program managers that we're going to hope to get this in front of students with as well.
Okay. Get a little bit of clarity on that other question. There was a slide that indicated that you would recruit counselors and advisors. So what's in it for the counselors and advisors? Are they volunteer, or are they intended to be compensated for their time?
Yes, we We do plan to hire people to be in that position. It will start off just being us. And then to hire people to fulfill that role and be more available for the one-on-one chat function so that as students have questions, they'll be able to get those answered. Can I also answer this question I see in the chat?
Please.
So I see there's one that says it's basically a two-sided marketplace. You need to acquire students and schools, and that's what we are setting out to do the 2 phases for. So like we'll start off just like a soft launch almost to get individuals signed up so that they can start utilizing it, and then we want to market to not actually districts, because that's such a big, it's hard, the cycle's so long. We want to try to get into schools and actual like college prep programs, possibly like charter schools, where we can get in a little quicker and show them that this is going to be a tool that they can use right away.
Wonderful. Thank you to the people who asked questions. And let's do just one more big round of applause for the team of College Leaps. Great work, y'all. I know the sound of one person clapping is almost kind of demotivating, but pretend it's the hands of the 100 folks who are here on the call. Just amplify it. Yeah. And Jordan's there too.
Thank
Fantastic.
You.
Congratulations to all. This is such a needed application and will change kids' lives if we get it off the ground. So way to go, y'all. Bye-bye. All right, up for our next pitch, we have, I don't know if there's any sports fans out there. I'm not one, but I do feel the void that has been created by the lack of professional sports right now. And this is for you. This is for those super sports fans who can't wait to get out there and go back to the way life was before and getting back to those games. Mike Miles is a recent addition to the EC and is one of those people who you just see at all of our events. So we're really glad that you're here and part of our community, Mike. And we would love to have you share about Jersey Exchange with the people who are on the call. Mike, I'm handing it off to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Bryn. And I really appreciate being here and the opportunity to pitch to folks. So like Bryn said, my name is Mike Miles. I'm here to pitch Jersey Exchange for every fan of the game. Jersey Exchange at its base is about bringing the game to raving fans, those die-hard, hardcore people that you see wearing their jerseys all over town and doing all the things they can to support their favorite teams. They're expressive. They stand out away from their games. They fit in at the stadium. They're season ticket holders. They know every chant and cheer. They dress only in team colors if they could have the opportunity to at every point. They're dedicated too. They're probably a season ticket holder. They may even own a bunch of jerseys. I've heard 3, I've heard 5, I've heard 10. I've heard of a few fans even who own more than 20 jerseys of the team that they cheer for. So they've got a closet full of gear and team wear to support their team. This is all because they want to be part of the team. They want to get as close to that on the field experience as they can, right next to the players, celebrating every goal, celebrating every big play that they possibly can. This leads them to a problem though. They get closets overloaded with jerseys and they constantly ask themselves, what do I do with old players, with throwback colors, maybe with that special St. Patrick's Day jersey that I bought after one too many beers one night? They run into this problem. They have no room for anything else in their closet. And Jersey Exchange is here with the solution. Think Rent the Runway or the Netflix program that brought you DVDs in your mailbox. We're building a subscription rental service for authentic player jerseys from your favorite teams. It saves fans money, it saves fans closet space, and it saves fans those worries of ownership, trades, retirement, poor plays, or heaven forbid, one of those crazy off-the-field scandals that have been all too common these days. We're bringing a competitive product to market, even considering the giants out there like Fanatics, the largest supplier of sports retail in the United States, or counterfeit overseas markets like Alibaba. We've got better features than the best folks at a competitive price to the cheapest options. And there's that one game-changing component. We let you trade out any player name or number for any other player name or number while you're subscribed. And you may notice that there looks to be a competitor to us in this space. That's a company called Rep the Squad. Rep the Squad folded 18 months ago, and we're fortunate enough to have the CEO as one of our key advisors on this process. How does it all work? Really simple. Pick your jersey, player, size, color. You pick what you want and what you'd like to wear next. We pack and ship that jersey, ship it to you to wear to the game. You return it in a prepaid mailer, no matter what you did, no matter how dirty it is. We launder it to the same standards as the pros and return it to our inventory ready to go for the next subscriber. And remember those diehard fans we talked about? Those are the folks we want to profile. Those are the folks we want to acquire as customers. We want them to tell their fan stories through our own channels. It generates excitement around sports, and it gets every fan in the game. Our value proposition is strong. We estimate break even on any single jersey we buy between 16 and 26 rentals, depending on the league and the retail price we'd acquire it for. And our current projections are cash flow positive from the moment we buy those jerseys. Once we get those initial assets in-house, we're generating money off of them all the way through. That leads us to a small net profit we estimate somewhere around the end of year 2. But there's value to fans, value to teams, and value to players as well. The fans obviously get a lower price point versus purchasing that jersey and the opportunity to change out at will. That's key to jersey exchange. Teams and players get additional advantages through that home field feeling, that huge crowd of diehards cheering, chanting, yelling, raving, moving them on to greatness. And it protects their licensing revenue from counterfeit and bogus jerseys that have been coming in from overseas. I'm here today to ask for your help. Feedback or opportunities that fit in with our core business, partners I can work with as we bring this to market, or investors who may be interested in the concept for potential seed funding later this summer. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Wonderful, Mike. Thank you so much. Also, your jersey. What jersey is that?
We've got Predators Winter Classic jersey on today. I'll try to bring it up for the crowd a little bit.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think your fun fact tonight was that you claim Bridgestone Arena as your winter home since you're there so often during hockey season. So
yes, I spend more time in my seats than on my couch sometimes.
Honestly, that seems like a pretty good gig. Pretty good deal if you're going to have a winter home. All right, we've got some questions for Mike. Again, you can put your questions in the chat. You can make them open to everyone. So if you want Mike to see them, or you can send them directly to me or to Riley. We have a couple questions already, Mike. Okay, here's one. Why did RTS flop, and how have you sized the market?
So Rep the Squad folded during a middle round of fundraising, actually. And in my discussions with the CEO, the key component there was actually cash flow. They were looking to raise additional funding based on the fact that they'd signed a national deal with the NFLPA to carry nationwide NFL jerseys. Unfortunately, that meant that they were in a hole financially that they weren't going to be able to climb out of until they had a significant national customer presence. What we're doing to tweak that a little bit is we're starting with a local market only. So the plan is to start in Nashville, build Nashville to a profitable market, then take that core concept, move it to another city where there's additional opportunities to do that as well. We think by doing it at a city by city level and generating those profits and turning those individual kind of cities into business units on their own, we can replicate this concept a little bit more effectively.
Oh, I mean, Nashville's also a great city for it since we're getting all the sports teams now. I have a couple more questions for you. People are very intrigued by your concept. Is it a monthly subscription, i.e. all you can eat? Thank you, Chris, for that. Or does the customer pay per jersey or per shipment?
So the core product would be an all-you-can-eat subscription. And the numbers suggest that all you can eat is not really all you can eat. Feasibly, realistically, the most you could get is about 3 rentals per month. And we estimate most folks will be in more like that 1.5 to 2.
Perfect. And how will you deal with expired inventory, the disposition of the clothing that you no longer generates revenue?
Yeah, that's a great question too. There is a small secondary market for some of these things. For jerseys that are in good shape, except for the fact that a player name or number is no longer on the team, like say Victor Arvidsson were to get traded this offseason and this jersey is no longer useful, we do have an opportunity to tear the numbering and player name off and restitch them. But we'd only plan to do that once per core jersey. Once we try to do that more than one time, we're just degrading the underlying quality of the fabric too much. So there is some limited reuse opportunity, but that disposition of used inventory or old inventory is something that we do have to keep an eye on. Bryn, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. There's a couple more questions in the chat, mostly around inventory. So one, how do you obtain the inventory? Like, what's your plan to actually get the inventory? And then if you could just explain a bit more how getting that inventory actually makes you cash positive on day one.
Yes, so inventory acquisition is a key question that we're working through right now. It's one of the kind of partnership opportunities I'm exploring. I do have some contacts with the Titans and one contact with the Predators. The hope is that we can work directly with the team, if not to acquire a large number of jerseys at wholesale, at slightly above wholesale, right, where the team still has an opportunity to make a profit off of that, and then utilize them from there. The reason we're cash flow positive from the get-go is once we've acquired that jersey, right, we've put the cash down to go get this jersey at $250, $275, or even $300. And as soon as we do that, we're generating money off of that jersey by putting it out into rentals and into shipments to customers, where we do make a small variable component on each shipment. So
we just have about 30 seconds or so left. But last question is, what is the price? Someone said, I'm sorry if I missed it, but what is the price?
Yeah, so we're going to start with $25 per month as a basic subscription. We're exploring premium options that would have special edition jerseys like this Winter Classic jersey I'm wearing, or a Color Rush jersey in NFL, something like that, at a slightly higher price. And then we'll also offer one-time rentals. So if you just want one jersey for 7 days, we'd offer that for $20.
Mike, you stood up to the firing squad like a champ. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Mike. And again, we want to see this grow. I did buy a jersey once as a anniversary gift, and I was overwhelmed and shocked by the price. I thought it was going to be a little nice thing to throw in there, but it was the whole nice dinner that I had planned. So what you're doing actually will be used by even customers like me who don't know what they're doing and don't know sports. Thank you so much for it, and we were glad to have you join us this semester in PreFlight. Next up, we've got Latoya Bailey with People on Purpose, or POP for short, POP Consulting for short. So I do have some fun facts about each of these people, and Latoya's fun fact is, it made perfect sense to me as soon as I read it. Latoya sang background and recorded vocals with a local artist when she was just in high school. And she still sings, but it's just for fun. So if this doesn't go off as planned, although I have a hunch it will, because Latoya is that kind of person who makes things happen, she will have a backup career as a backup dancer, a backup singer, I should say, if at all possible. All right, Latoya, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
You sound crisp and perfect, as any background vocalist would. All right, it's all you.
All right, thank you. Hello, my name is Latoya Bailey, and I'm the founder and CEO of People on Purpose, also known as POP Consulting. And our goal is to help businesses attract, develop, and retain high-performing leaders. So our ask today is for introductions to HR executives or business owners looking to outsource learning and development. So I remember about 5 years ago, I went into my manager's office and I told her that I needed a promotion. On top of that, I gave her a list of reasons why I actually deserved the promotion. About 2 weeks later, I got the promotion, only to quit the job a few months after that promotion. I know you're probably asking, okay, why did you quit the job? You asked for the promotion, you got it. What was the problem? Well, 1 in 2 employees leave their job because of their manager, and that was me. There's a few more reasons why employees leave their job. Top 3, 1 is because of career growth opportunities and a lack of their career path. And then that second one is because of quality management. So have you ever looked at your manager and felt like he or she was underqualified? Yes, I know. And that third reason is for chances for advancement. And this is more intrinsic and the fulfillment of one's purpose. So the solution is to reduce turnover and increase engagement. And POP will do this by providing current and emerging leaders with learning and development opportunities. POP is for companies that value their employee and actually believes that all employees are an asset. POP organizations are passionate about developing people and their learning organizations. These are organizations that invite creativity and they actually implement continuous learning and development programs or initiatives. POP organizations are not just looking for a check the box type of training or cookie cutter training or just looking for technical training for their staff. POP will provide on-site training workshops. So this is going to be maybe 1 or 2 hours on a specific topic, and we're going to come to your workspace to do that for your existing or emerging leaders. We're also going to provide customized program experiences. Now, these experiences, they're actually going to really be an experience that builds team building. They're going to promote leadership workshops. They're going to be off campus or off site, and they're actually going to include a recognition ceremony at the closing of that program that promotes team building and engagement. We're also going to provide leadership coaching, and this is going to be one-on-one with any of your existing or emerging leaders in your company. All right, so I'm going to primarily work with HR professionals or business owners. I'm going to help them by promoting learning and development as well as employee engagement within their organization, while HR can focus on the other fun HR functions like recruitment, onboarding, performance management, and benefits. So I have over 10 years of HR experience, and I definitely understand the challenges of HR professionals and the needs to move from being less reactive and transactional to be more strategic in its approaches to learning and development and employee engagement. Our differentiating factor is going to be our customized learning and development program experiences. So these programs are going to create a learning community as well as a team of talented leaders within your organization. They're going to include those recognition ceremonies to really build engagement and promote a team building environment. This is unlike any of the other competitors out there in the market today. So why now? Well, 51% of the workforce is just unengaged, and disengaged employees lead to higher turnover. Engaged employees lead to lower turnover and higher productivity, and that is what we want. It's no longer enough for managers to just check the box and be task takers. Managers must now develop and motivate their employees. Like I said, 1 in 2 employees leave because of their manager. So our managers must transition from being a boss to being a coach. And POP will transform your existing managers to high-performing leaders, as well as develop and create a pool of emerging leaders in your organization that will increase employee engagement and lower your turnover. My name is LaToya Bailey. I'm the POP team right now, and I'll be developing and facilitating your learning and development. Thank you for your time.
Wonderful, LaToya, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Carried out. And as she said yesterday in our rehearsal, she said, I am the team. We are really glad that you are the team and that you're part of our team, LaToya.
Thank you.
Questions for LaToya? You can pop those into the chat. I see a couple already. Okay. You ready?
As I ever be.
Okay, this question. How do you objectively measure success?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to measure success, but I would think for POP, we're going to be focusing more on return on investment and turnover rates. So we'll be looking at those one-on-one based on the company or organization that we're working with our customized learning and development experiences. So for our one-on-one trainings, of course, we can't really measure return on investment or turnover, but we can do basic surveys to see how our participants, what they learned or what they got from that workshop and how they go in and implement that within their organizations.
And this is all around the trainings as well. What specific topics and modules do your POP trainings include?
Awesome. So these are going to be impact skills. So that's what I like to call them, but they're more soft skills. So those skills are like communication skills for managers, what's the role of a supervisor for a first-time supervisor, or finding that leader within, because we all are leaders in our own right. So priority setting, planning, and priority setting. So those are some examples of some of those impact skills and training topics that we'll be able to facilitate with your company.
Okay, more questions around the actual POP process. How is POP planning to engage companies that may not already be implementing these types of training? So this is a company that has no employee, I guess, employee engagement plan or employee engagement strategy or employee kind of bolstering up plan.
So the question was, how does POP plan to engage companies that do not offer learning and development or training?
Exactly. So if they're brand new to this idea of professional development across their organization, or let's say they're just so busy getting done the things of the business, how would you bring them into this?
Yes, that's a great question, because a lot of times that is what we're trying to do, right? We're just trying to get things done and focus on really checking the box. But for those companies that really are strategic, so companies that really see themselves in the long run, really retaining their employees. You know, the turnover rate is over 50% within the workforce right now. So just imagine being able to get ahead of that curve and really focus on engagement from the beginning of that point. And that's what we're really trying to do. So our goal is to really go out and promote speaking engagements, talk to some of the existing HR leaders and see what they're doing and how we can help them with their learning and development efforts. And if they've already done learning and development efforts for their company, how has those been working? So we're going to look at that. How many of your employees have been promoted within the past 3 years? Or are you just hiring in new staff? Right, so we're going to look at that, and we're going to really work with the companies on what they're currently doing and anything they can do to improve that.
Questions around your rate structure. So are you going to charge by the company, by the number of employees, by the number of engagements? And then what is your, I guess, overall rate structure? Will you bundle it by hours or will you bundle it by project?
Okay, great question. So the on-site workshops, these are those 1 to 2 hour workshops. We're finalizing the cost for that now, but it will be a set price for that, and it will include up to a certain amount of managers or employees. For example, it may be 15 employees can participate in that one training for $200, you know, so that will be for the on-site training. The leadership program experiences, these are going to vary. So there's going to be an hourly cost associated with that, as well as there might be resources that we need, for example, lodging. So someone might want to do a 1 week academy program, or some might want to meet every other month for 6 months. So it's really going to vary on that. And so that's why they're more customized, but it will be a rate applied to that as well as any other resources. And we'll send all the invoice, all those detailed items in advance based off of what that budget looks like. And then the coaching, it will be a flat rate for a certain amount of hours within a time period.
All right, Latoya, that's your time. Congratulations. You have made it successfully through your pre-flight pitch night. And again, Latoya is another one of the people that's presenting tonight who kind of joined the EC just in this past 5 to 6 months and has, I think your face is very, very well known around the EC. So we're so glad that you're part of this community with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're at the midway point. So I've got our next presenter ready to go. We're really excited to have Dr. Teresa Vasquez here. And because of a glitch, she is actually one of our pre-flight scholars. And because of a glitch on my end on email, she almost wasn't in this class of pre-flight because I had put the wrong email in the line of my yet another mail merge in Google Docs. And thank goodness that I noticed this error, because I would have really missed out on getting to know Dr. Vasquez and getting to learn her ideas. So thank you for being there with us. And you joined right into pre-flight, one class in, and just killed it. So I also have a fun fact about Dr. Teresa Vasquez. She played 7 years of women's professional football as a linebacker and as a headhunter, which I never would have guessed. You're a woman who contains multitudes. All right. Let us know about Autism Possible. Mission Control. The floor is yours.
Defense, let's go.
Absolutely. Hello, I'm Dr. Teresa Vasquez, co-founder and CEO of Autism Possible, where we encourage Cape wearers around the globe to embrace their missions because they are the heroes who they've been searching for. My autistic son, Ramel, and I have been on an autism journey for 19 years and it has not always gone well. We both laughed and cried together. But when he was 5, he asked me if I could teach him to be brave. That was the turning point for me. So I set out to learn how I could do just that. And the best education I received was from other families who, just like me, were experiencing tremendous stress and fears about their autistic kids' independence and futures. So I began doctoral research to learn what can empower families and autistic individuals. As such, Autism Possible was born. It has been a go-to resource and tool for families who are learning how to simplify their lives through use of assistive technology. Now that Ramel is an adult, I have learned from experience that autistic people and their families need more help with the transition because disempowered families leave the autism community more exposed than ever, especially as autistic children become autistic adults. You see, the problem is that autism families are stressed out, partly because there are no long-term simple supports for autistic individuals. Based on information from the CDC, intensive behavioral interventions for children with autism cost approximately $60,000 per child per year. What happens when these children become adults and many are without services for the first time in their lives? Over the next decade, an estimated 1.2 million autistic teens will enter adulthood and age out of school-based services. And to add to that, more than half of young adults with autism will remain unemployed and unenrolled in post-secondary education in the 2 years after high school. However, research demonstrates that activities like mission control that encourage independence also reduce autism symptoms and increase daily living skills. We have had approximately 60 families using the MVP version of one of our tools, Wardrobe, over the past 2 years with great feedback and success. This has given us some information on what the current needs are, and the solution is mission control. Mission Control is built on 10 years of research and addresses family stress over the future of their autistic loved ones and encourages independence while growing with the autistic user from childhood to adulthood with a simple customizable dashboard that serves as the family command center for progress, goals, and help. A progress reporting feature and support system with educational videos and forums so that families can go to important meetings prepared with data. And a powerful suite of life skill features built using positive reinforcements and gamification to encourage autistic users. The features also sync with the dashboard to report important data so admins and families can update application settings if needed from anywhere. The problems that I've identified has shown the immense need for mission control due to the current COVID-19 pandemic and has exposed the deficiencies in the system for families and special education. Due to this, we will be leveraging our relationships with assistive technology departments and school systems and advocacy groups, as well as families to generate revenue and exposure. Mission Control has several competitors in this space, but their focus is specifically on family organization and not necessarily on autism goals, as these apps were built to be used by parents only and not autistic users or professionals. These applications also don't provide supports for autistic individuals to become independent and learn life skills. We will offer light, premium, and professional packages, but during our prototyping and user testing phase, we'll also be analyzing the market on price. We are a mighty family team of professionals and subject matter experts. With myself, Dr. Teresa Vasquez, the CEO and co-founder and software architect, Trinity Terry is co-founder and lead software engineer, Ramel Terry as co-founder and the brilliant autism advisor, Eugene Terry with over 25 years of experience and educational advisor, and Dr. Tamara Lamons with occupational therapy advising. Today, my ask is simple. I'm looking for beta testers as we enter into the prototyping phase of Mission Control, because not all heroes wear capes, but with Mission Control, a better life with autism, possible. Thank you.
Wonderful, 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 Dr. Vasquez. And I starting to see some questions come into the chat. So please put those into the chat. I think Jordan as the resident cheerleader is something we should have on all virtual engagements from now on. Okay, one question is a little more programmatic. I would like to know if Dr. Vasquez has had any conversations with the folks at the Frisk Center for Autism and Innovation at Vanderbilt University.
I actually haven't, but I have worked directly with Vanderbilt University as I'm an advocate through their advocacy program. And so I've been advocating on behalf of autistic families for quite a while now, but I will definitely look into that.
Other questions for Dr. Vasquez? Let's see. All I'm saying is praise. People are too stunned to ask questions. Oh, it looks like
I'm a very excitable person. So
I do have an email to send your way. Okay, here we go. Is this for everyone on the spectrum?
It absolutely is. And to start, like our focus was primarily on teens and adults because there are not very many tools and technologies or even services, because when an individual or when a kid leaves high school, the services just drop off. And I learned that personally, getting all the services that my son needed. He needed physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. And then when he graduated, it all stopped. That was really like an eye opener for me. And so I felt like if we could create something that could grow with an individual from childhood all the way through adulthood, that also allowed families the ability to be involved in that treatment, especially as I got older, because my son tells me always, Mom, I'm a man. He tells me that all the time. And so he doesn't want me on his device. He doesn't want me like interacting with his things. But if I could remotely update his goals, update how the application interacts with him, then that's exactly what I want to be able to do in order to be able to make sure that he reaches his goals. So hope that answered your question.
I think it did. And how can you compete? So let's say, for example, there are other larger healthcare companies or behavioral health companies that enter this market and they could scale really quickly. How do you think you'd be able to compete with a company that was larger, maybe better funded, and was better able to quickly scale? What is your competitive edge in comparison?
That is a great question. And I've actually asked myself that. I think my competitive advantage when it comes to this is that my research study that I did for my doctoral research was the first of its kind. And so I was actually able to create a model for how applications should be built to use within the autism community. And so I have a following, it might just be a small following, but it is a following of people who consistently are asking me to create. And I've been a software engineer for about 20 years now. And my focus was primarily on tech integration and kind of helping school systems learn how to integrate. My son was the first person to use the iPad in Metro, for instance. And so we led that charge so that other kids can also have access to assistive technologies that are high tech. And so what I can add that potentially other people can't is that I have studied and researched and put my hands deep into the sand of understanding how applications have to work, so that the statistical significance for me is something that, of course, we need to generalize, but ultimately it's something that most large organizations, while they can do it rapidly and possibly even to scale, they won't have the implications long term for a user with autism.
Yep, that makes total sense. And then does insurance cover any of this in the model that you have?
That is the hope. So one of the things that's super important is I spat off that total of $60,000 per child per year. And I've had a lot of questions about that, because the reality is yeah, that's about how much it costs, probably even a little bit more. But the school system usually handles that. And so what ends up happening is that, like I said, the cliff happens. And so what we're trying to do is to get more assistive technologies into that sphere of insurance. And that's kind of one of the things that I've been on the front lines of advocating for. Because, when you think of an iPad, you don't think, oh, insurance should cover that. But if it's an assistive technology, it should absolutely cover that. And so for the past 10 years, that's kind of been one of the things that I've been trying to advocate and lobby for.
That makes total sense. Yeah, it makes total sense. And then someone asked, is the concept, is it essentially a tracking tool with module trainings?
Potentially. Actually, the tool itself is a life skills tool for the autistic individual to be able to build independence, because that's really what we're aiming for, is we want them to be independent. But what the family dashboard gives the family is the ability to track goals and set new ones. And so that's an important part for the family, but families also need support. And so contained within the app, there will also be trainings on the law, advocacy training. There will also be forums so that families can kind of talk in a safe space and get feedback from other potential professionals. Tamara, I mentioned her, she is one of the leaders on our board. And she is autism is like, she's a professor at Belmont that does occupational therapy, and her focus is autism. And so she is very much of the model of, yes, professionals should be giving so much help, but when an individual becomes an adult, we should really be backing off a little bit and allowing them to kind of make their own path. And so I've leaned on her a lot to get that experience and the expertise of what does that look like? What do they need? What kind of supports do they need that are not intrusive, but also allow them to meet their goals?
Almost like a one-stop shop to aggregate all this info from providers, family,
yes,
user.
Yes.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
gives the family more power too, because one thing that families are overwhelmed. I'm one of those people. We're overwhelmed. When you get ready for an IEP meeting, I mean, literally, I had a manual this big of things that I had to bring in. And so what this does is it allows them to aggregate all of this data and to be able to print a simple report that they can bring to the IEP team meeting with them. Because the reality is that no one will listen to you in those meetings unless you come forth with data and you understand the law. And so Autism Possible for families kind of gives them that place where they can learn how to advocate for themselves and for hopefully other children in the special education system, but primarily for themselves, and be able to have access to the data that they need to support the things that they're requesting within the IEP, so that they can move along through vocational rehabilitation and all those other things that kind of happen as the autistic individual moves from school into adulthood.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Dr. Teresa Vasquez, Dr. T, as we sometimes say, congratulations. We are so glad.
Thank you.
Beautiful presentation. And you're getting so many responses in the chat that I think are just really vital as you're building out your app. So if I didn't ask one of your questions, or I didn't share your feedback with Dr. Vasquez, go ahead and chat it to her, because I'm trying to send them to her really quickly, but I obviously have a lot of tabs open in my brain.
My email is there. Everything is there. Feel free to email me. I don't like notifications, so I will definitely respond.
Perfect. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And up next, we have Jordan Fitzgerald. Jordan and his mom were both in pre-flight this past semester. I keep saying semester because I think of pre-flight as a course. And of course, it is the very end of most normal semesters. By semester, I mean the last 4 to 5 months, so bear with me. Jordan's fun fact is that he is a jazz nerd, and I think you'll see some of the musical elements in his presentation as he gets into this. Jordan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much. Let's see if I can, oh my God, hold on. Can't figure out how to, how's it moving?
It should be just the plain arrows, and there might be a little bit of a lag from when you click the arrow to when it moves forward.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Hello, my name is Jordan Fitzgerald, and this is Afro Drift Design Company. We are a creative agency and think tank, and my job today is to get 100% of you as my clients. So, how do you value your business? We could talk about this all day, about the overall value of your business, but ultimately design is what brings life to the value that is your business. So what's the problem? Well, new design clients are constantly looking for cheap solutions to huge problems. They're making tons and tons of bad design decisions, which in the long run cost them money and time. So I pose this question: look at the posters, then look at the logo merch. If you ran the gift shop at the National Museum of African American Music, which one would you prefer? I personally prefer the posters because you will be getting a little piece of the museum with you. So my solution is a creative studio that specializes in creating design projects from scratch that will in turn show the general public and potential clients what design can do. And a design think tank that will help clients who have already had designs created decide which design direction will be best for their respective businesses, in turn showing them the value of design thinking. So here's another example of good design thinking and good design practice. About a couple of months ago, back in February, I was asked to do a poster series for the National Civic Design Center for their Pachakacha night, and the overall theme behind these is idea, the power of idea, what ideas can do and how they shape Nashville, and so on and so forth. So that's what these lines represent in these posters. They represent ideas. They help shape the identity that is Nashville. And here's me giving a speech as said, Pachakacha night. So my talker early is a guy who just loves to learn. He loves to learn. He is a constant student of life. We'll call him Jerry Walker. His name is 32, computer engineer. He loves reading, wanderlust, learning from web development, traveling, exploring different cultures, and he wants to take all what he has learned and enrich it in his business. So my students' value will be based on the feedback that we receive from clients, as well as the number of projects that we have completed and have been paid for. We utilize a network that we will constantly build upon through social media and trade shows and conferences that will keep us active even when we're not working with clients. We're also starting a podcast that will showcase our expertise as identity designers and brand strategists, which will solidify our argument for being a fully functioning design studio. And here's the starting pricing guide. I have to say, design is an investment. It is not a commodity. And I believe we'll be good in all these areas, and these will turn around a huge profit. So opportunity lies within the $15 billion graphic design industry, focusing on consulting and creative services. We're already starting to gain some traction within the design community in Nashville, with AfroDrift already been asked to serve on the committee for National Design Week in October. Now they moved the date up. And we're just coming off a successful completion with the National Civic Design Center, as you just saw. So here's my main competition. Currently, it's between Red Pepper and Circa Design. They're both great design firms, and I believe that these pose our greatest competition locally. So second up will be design firms with Statement and Foxwood Creative, and ultimately I would like to become the Pentagram of the South. Pentagram is this huge design firm, international design firm that has offices in several different countries, and if you're on par with them, you did it. I can't move my screen.
Hey, Jordan, click the screen and then move forward.
Trying to. Clicking the screen, moving forward. Here it is. Okay, now we got it. So why now? Well, as always, as we all know, design is everywhere. Everywhere we look. As soon as we walk out of the house, we may not pay attention to, but it is there. And as the question I've posed before, you know, there are clients that are looking for cheap design solutions. So we want to be here, and with this downtime right now that we get, there will be businesses out the woodwork coming out of this as we're continuously opening back up. And I want to be there to drift them in the right direction with their brand messaging and identity. So currently, here's my team right now. It's just me and a really good friend of mine. He has a bachelor's of marketing from MTSU. He asks tough questions. He is only 20%. He makes me better, and that's why I want him on my team. His name is Daryl Webb, and he's already agreed to be my brand director and lead consultant. I'll be looking for a lead marketing consultant, as well as another lead designer and a client services manager. Me myself, I'm going to be the creative director for AfroDrift, and basically I'll be looking for leads in other arenas of design as we expand and grow. That's where I guess we see the motion lead, the UI UX lead, web development lead, and so on and so forth. So guys, thank you for listening to my presentation. This has been Afro Drift. I want to thank you for listening again, and hopefully I've added some value. I've added some value to design for talking today. I hope to welcome you in as a client for your project. Thank you.
Yay, Jordan. Let us cheerlead the cheerleader himself. We have some questions popping into the chat for you. Yeah, I'm hearing woos all around. Some questions for you. Who does the design, and is there risk if there's a limited number of designers?
There shouldn't be a risk. There shouldn't be a risk. As a graphic design, as a graphic design, as graphic designers, we're always getting continuous flows of projects and whatnot, you know, and as even and it will be easier for me as a team, but my job is to make sure that all my clients are taken care of, even if it's just me. But as you can see, it's not just me. Thank God.
And another question for you: why would I not choose Fiverr? It's a nominal cost and an infinite number of brilliant designers with quick turnaround. Jordan's like, don't do Fiverr. Go for it.
Do not do Fiverr. You are not getting the same kind of expertise as you would hiring an actual firm. You are not getting the research. You're not getting the inspiration. You're not getting a sound direction with them. All you're doing when buying with Fiverr is that you're just buying a logo and it's slapping it on your company, thinking that it's going to take you in that direction. No, it's not. Do not believe that.
That's that. Jordan said it. He said there's no way around it. So it sounds like there's something about the ownership and level of whole, like the boutique feel, the way you're able to almost white glove the experience for the people.
Yes.
What sets you apart? So you kind of list Red Pepper and others in town. What do you think sets you apart from other Nashville-based designers?
Well, for one thing, I have my own style of doing things for one thing, and plus there's also the design think tank. You see, the premise of that came from when as designers, you know, we will sometimes get people as beginning designers, we'll get people to ask us, you know, what do you think of this design? What do you think of this logo? What do you think of this poster? And I'm saying, you know what? Why not be that person? And that's what I'm offering too. I want to help you. I want to be that second voice. I want to help you get the message out there the best way know how with designs you already have. So that way you'll find you have a newfound appreciation of design thinking, as well as you getting the right message for your client. Like a good example would be I could have been used for the Skills commercial. You know they had the nasty looking yogurt man, and they had to dip the skill in him, and he's all shaking and laughing and stuff. Everybody on Twitter was creeped out by that. They could have used a second opinion, and that's where I come in. That's where I saw it at.
This is not a question, but it's a comment. I like the standard pricing structure. I saw it work at another firm I worked with, and it makes it easy to gauge my investment. So that's a little feedback there. Okay, we have 13 seconds left. Jordan, anything left for the good of the group?
Guys, thank you so much. This has been an honor being in this program. My heart is pumping, my fro is curly, and god dang it, I'm just having the ball, baby.
Wow, what a great commercial for PreFlight right there, and a little bundle. Just package it up.
And if you want to hit me up for if you want to work on a project, you want to use it for a project, please send me an email and follow me on IG. I think they'll be at the end, I believe.
At the very end, we will have a slide card that will have the info, logo for every single company that's pitching tonight. Jordan, thank you so much. It is time for us. This is the most fun I've ever had in this guest bedroom at my house. We are down to our second to last pitch of the night. I can't believe how quickly this has gone. Charlotte Cherry is here. Charlotte has taken her idea through PreFlight. And when I saw her pitch last night, that was the most I'd heard about her concept so far this semester. over this past course of run of PreFlight, and I was like, gosh, I wish I had had this for so many trips that I have organized in the past 2 years, from bachelorette parties to, you know, birthday trips to family trips. I wish that this had existed. And she's a good person to launch this idea because she's traveled to 5 out of 7 continents and 20 plus countries around the world. Charlotte, it is your turn to take over the stage. Take it away.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Charlotte Cherry, and my company is Fully. Fully is a service that creates customized travel journeys crafted with heart. This evening, though, I want to begin with the end in mind. My ask for the judges is that you assess my business concept. I'm seeking to understand whether Fully has legs, what works for this concept and what doesn't, and what are my blind spots. I invite you for a moment to think back to one of your fondest memories while traveling. One of mine is this glacier hike in Norway. And if you know anything about Norway, then you know it's the land of fjords and glaciers with hundreds of beautiful sights and hikes. Pinpointing and deciding on one location for a one-day hike took me 1 week of research. Why? The countless options. The overwhelming number of reviews to sort through, combing through the details about how to get there, where to stay, did I need a guide? After researching for a week, I was no closer to a decision. That's crazy, you must be thinking. But if you're also like me, you work full-time, you have obligations, maybe you have kids, hobbies, or Netflix. At the end of the day, you don't have time to spend sorting through 29 options for a glacier hike. And even if you did have time, you would reach decision fatigue by website number 4. Is this sounding familiar? To put a number on your time, on average it takes 30 hours to research and plan a week-long trip. But say you're not the planner and you only spend 20 hours. And say you take about 3 trips a year. Most Americans take between 3 and 5. This comes to spending 60 hours a year in trip planning. You can drive across America in faster time than that, from Maine to Washington State in 51 hours. Or if you paid yourself the 60 hours it took to plan your trip, and say you make $50 an hour, that's $3,000 of your time. For context, mowing your lawn takes on average 11 hours of your year. And I'm guessing a good number of you hire a lawn service, and that's just for 11 hours. The travel industry is feeling your pain though. Booking aided via travel agent increased to 13% in 2019. Additionally, the travel industry is seeing most travelers today desiring a personalized experience when they book their travel. But personalized doesn't mean booking in person. Data also show nearly 80% of travel bookings in 2018 were completed via a website or mobile app without human interaction. So what is my company? Fully is a service that creates customized travel journeys for you. Fully creates travel itineraries crafted to customer tastes. It's all organized online and in an easy-to-use app. And there's customer assistance before, during, and after your trip, which is particularly important in times like this, where COVID-19 has affected so many people's travel plans. Fully works like this. Anna navigates to the Fully website or app. She selects the traveler questionnaire and enters some basic information. Some of the first questions ask about her destination, her budget, and her dates of travel. Also selects that she's interested in cultural experiences, food and wine, and museums. Other questions ask Anna about her preferred activity level, as well as her preferences for off-the-beaten-path activities. Within 2 business days, Fully will reach out and connect with Anna and confirm her travel preferences. Anna can provide more information at this stage or leave it up to Fully to craft her personalized journey. Within 5 business days, Fully will send an itinerary back to Anna that she can review and send comments back to Fully until the itinerary is just to Anna's preferences. When Anna is satisfied, Fully finalizes the booking of her itinerary, and Anna can access all of this online or in the app. Fully is for customers who have experienced the frustration of decision fatigue and choice overload when planning a trip. Fully wants to help make life easier by saving customers time and providing peace of mind. Fully is just as intriguing to family travelers as it is to solo travelers or couples. Fully embraces any person who is desiring that authentic travel journey and is also seeking broadening experiences or new adventures. So though, you may be wondering how Fully is different than a travel agency. Well, there are two types of travel agencies: online, and those companies include Expedia or Booking.com, or in person, such as those local small business travel advising companies. Fully combines the best of both worlds. It's the next evolution. Fully meets the customers where they are in the digital age, providing that personalized service via an app or mobile interface without human interaction. Fully embraces that today, people prefer to connect via an app or online instead of in person or over a phone. This flexibility allows customers the convenience of when and how they interact with Fully, whether it's between work Zoom meetings at midnight or at 6 a.m. And like an in-person travel agency, Fully creates travel journeys specifically based on customer preferences. Though Fully doesn't sell whole vacation packages or offer discounts through designated vendors. Fully offers its service with pricing based on number of travel days and the tier. Basic, which includes customized travel designs for $40 per travel day. Classic, which is one step up and includes booking for $70 per travel day. And Luxe, which is for those travelers who are looking for that truly indulgent experience, and that pricing is based on an individual basis. Thank you so much for your time and allowing me to share about Fully.
Yes, Charlotte, thank you so much. Also, your voice is so melodic. I don't know if you've heard that before, but it's just so soothing. I'm like, I feel like I am on that Norwegian glacier right now because I'm so transported by your voice.
Thank you.
All right, we have lots of questions, I'm sure, percolating in people's minds, questions, comments in the chat about Fully. Please pop those questions into the chat. And Charlotte is our second to last presenter of the night. So now if you have any burning questions, now's the time to share them. Okay, we have one of our first questions. Your data sets must be huge to assimilate all of a traveler's variables, which begs the question of high startup cost. And then what's the break even and payback?
Thank you for that question. So this first round of my pitch, obviously, as you could tell, is just for validation of concept. So if this is sounding sound, then the next step would be seeking out what kind of tech specifications I would need, what kind of database to house all this information, what kind of portal would be necessary that's secure, that allows customers to enter that information. So that's something I am still yet to explore.
So it sounds like you're actively researching what are the different inputs and variables that go into the back end of that right now. Okay.
Right.
So it sounds like we probably need someone who's a developer,
yes.
Someone who can help and assist Charlotte. Okay, we've got a question. I've used travel services before and find them a huge value. How will you market your services and how do you plan to grow and scale?
Yeah. So one thing as I was thinking about the concept of Fully is I realized that there is a lot of competition in this arena. And as I was thinking through about what makes Fully different, I think I decided to pivot and not say that Fully is different, but say that it's a next evolution of travel design. And that convenience really is important for the customers who are in the digital age now. And I think there was a second part to that question about marketing. That's still something I'm scoping out. And when I get a better understanding based on your feedback and feedback through PreFlight, whether this is a concept that has legs, I'll start exploring that marketing aspect and go down that route.
Okay, this is a similar question here. Also, I love that phrase travel design, because that really is what it is, like travel design and curation. Will you do your own scouting for a very personalized experience?
Would I do my own scouting?
Mm-hmm.
I think so far the company is just me. So indeed, it would be just me for now. Yep.
Okay, it sounds like that is happening. And then you already answered this question: how does Fully differentiate itself from companies like Via Hero? Via Hero is, I don't know if you're familiar with that platform.
I'm wondering if the person who asked if that's a similar company as Journey or Noken, which are very similar concepts with Fully, different. I didn't mention sort of other competitors like Fully because I think in this first understanding of my company, a lot of people are questioning how it's different than an in-person travel agent or one that you might find in a local business. So that was my main comparator group for now. But I understand there are businesses already that exist that offer a similar service.
A more tactical question: are there any trademark issues with your proposed business name?
So my business name essentially is a placeholder until I find one that I think I'm satisfied with. But in order to present to you today, I needed to have something. So Fully is what's come to mind. And
it's an MVP name.
I don't know if I'm set on it, but just to have something for you all today.
Perfect. And then someone asked, does Charlotte have her contact details? Yes, and we will have that in the final slide. But Charlotte, if you just want to say your contact details, I can put them in the chat.
Sure. My email is charlotte.p as in Paul, .cherry, CHERRY @gmail.com.
Perfect. And then we've got time for this last question. Oh, well, no, this isn't a question, it's more of a comment, but it's a good comment. Maybe start with a specific place, i.e. Tennessee, then work with various vendors in specific areas to create customizable experiences, from picnics with catered foods to private tours. You could be commissioned from vendor or by client fee. That is a good way to narrow and not boil the ocean.
Thank you.
Okay. Charlotte,
yeah!
Thank you so much.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you, Charlotte.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
And with that, we are on to our last pitch of the night. I can't believe this is already here. We've gotten to this momentous moment. That's repetitive. I can't think of a word right now other than momentous, because this is the most I've talked out loud in 6 weeks. My brain is a little tapped, but I'm really excited for this final pitch. Sade Meeks is also one of our scholars of this pre-flight round. And as one of her fun facts, she said, as a dietitian, Sade won't judge you for putting sugar in your grits, but as a Southerner who enjoys savory grits, she may judge you just a little. And I agree, I would also judge you for putting sugar in your grits. But listen, everyone has their own thing. Sade, we are excited to have you here to talk about grits. Take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sade Meeks, and I am founder of Grits, Inc. It is a nonprofit that stands for Growing Resilience in the South, and our mission is to improve the health and well-being of our communities through an increased awareness of nutrition, food history, and culture. Child, I had everything out in that garden, even peanuts, said my grandmother, and the inspiration behind grits. As I sat with my grandmother and she described the foods that she grew for our family, I was reminded of how disconnected to foods we have become as a culture. And this disconnect is not without consequence. It is being exacerbated by socio and economic disadvantages that's contributing to the rise in chronic disease that we see are hitting African Americans in the South the hardest. And this is also being paralleled with health disparities such as unequal access to healthcare practitioners, like registered dietitians. This is a huge problem. Thankfully, Grits can be part of the solution. With Grits Nutrition, we will connect clients to dietitians at no cost to help them manage their hypertension or their diabetes, all while considering their income, location, and cultural preferences. So a client can simply come to the GRITS website where they will complete a pre-screening application. Once their application is approved, we will connect and match them with a dietitian. Once they book that appointment with the dietitian, GRITS will cover the fee. The client doesn't have to worry about the money. They can simply focus on their nutrition and growing their resilience. And our dietitians, they will be of all ethnic backgrounds, including African Americans. And I say that proudly because when I first started this journey to become a dietitian, I didn't see many people that looked like me. And that's because only 2.6% of dietitians in the United States are Black. And that's not reflective of the diversity that we see within our communities. GRITS wants to reach a diverse range of clients, so we need a diverse community of dietitians to do so. And with the growth of social media, we see our major competitors being health influencers. And sometimes they can give out some misinformation. And that's because anyone can call themselves a nutritionist, but not everyone can call themselves a registered dietitian. In fact, registered dietitians are the only healthcare practitioners licensed and trained to legally provide medical nutrition therapy to clients. So we can do so within the GRITS nutrition program through grants, sponsorships, and subscribe donations. That's right, you can subscribe to give a monthly donation to the GRITS nutrition program, and we would return our appreciation with a monthly GRITS gift. Growing resilience. We have growth in our name, so we know a lot about growth, and part of growth involves evolution. An example of our evolution is seen with the Resilience Box. The Resilience Box started off as a subscription box to help fund this nutrition program, but we soon found that this was not a sustainable or profitable tool to help fund this big vision that we had. So it evolved from a subscription box to a client incentive. After our clients complete an initial assessment and at least 2 follow-ups, they will receive a GRITS Resilience Box. In the box, it includes ingredients and foods personalized and curated specifically for them to help them meet their nutrition needs. And we are excited to get this out to more people and increase access to dietitians because our current clients are happy. They feel like they're talking to a friend when they're talking to the dietitian. They feel as if the time and effort is unmatched and that their health concerns are finally being heard. And even if you aren't a GRITS client, you can be part of the GRITS community because we are a family. We share our recipes on our website and our Instagram, and we even have a podcast. On the podcast, we talk all things nutrition, food history, and we also share soul food, which is our version of an inspirational message, because we believe feeding the soul is just as important to growing resilience. And none of this growth and resilience would be possible without our team. I myself am the executive director and a registered dietitian. On the board, we also have 2 registered dietitians, Leslie Ramirez and Melissa Lopez, a culinary instructor, Lamont Stapleton, accountant Tim Bogo, and my lovely mother and independent nonprofit consultant, Frances Weeks. If you would like to become a sponsor of GRITS or donate in any way, you can reach us at rerise@gritsinc.org. Thank you.
Congratulations, Sade.
Yeah! Yeah!
Congratulations. All right. And I believe you're the only nonprofit tonight to pitch, if I'm not mistaken. So we're glad that you're here because in PreFlight, you can grow all kinds of concepts, you know, nonprofits, for-profits, S-corps, what have you, social enterprises. There really is not that much different when you come down to it. It's just different ways of using that revenue, different ways of bringing money into your business, and different ways of deploying that revenue. So we're glad to have you on board. Now, let's get some questions from the chat. Let's see. This one is about sort of your delivery of care, or maybe your delivery of advice, food advice. Processed food is everywhere. It is promoted, convenient, and tastes great. How do you break that habit?
I think it takes a lot of education, and part of my job as a dietitian is to provide nutrition education, but also is to provide food literacy. And I think that's a lot of what we lack. We can still eat and consume processed foods in a healthy way if we learn what food literacy is, if we learn how to choose healthier options, because all processed foods aren't bad. And so that's one thing I would pride my dietitians on, is emphasizing those food literacy skills too, because when we feel like we can't eat processed foods in a food desert, that can be really disempowering to our clients. And that's the last thing we want to do. We want to empower them to make good with what they have. And in the end of the day, it's a big problem. So we kind of got to meet them where they are. And those food literacy skills can kind of empower them to make the best decisions that they can make in the midst of all these food deserts and processed foods.
Another question for you. Can you talk about your fundraising strategy?
Yeah, so like I said, we started out as a subscription box, and that wasn't something that was going to fund this program because it's expensive. And so our major fundraising is really going after grants. We've been applying to multiple nonprofit grants, some grants that specifically want to help fund dietitians who have this, innovative project. Additionally, as I mentioned in the presentation, we are going to have a donation subscription type of service. So anyone can donate any type of money they would like. And GRITS we like to connect with our community. So we will return that favor with an appreciation gift that's reflective of our mission. So whether it's a fun ingredient or food product, just to kind of reconnect them with food, that's what we want to do. So part of getting that more, we have to do more marketing to really educate people that is available for anyone to do. But we're really now focusing more on the grants and the people who can fund us in that way, because we believe that's going to be the big portion of where our funding comes from, and donors.
Someone asked, could a person utilize their health insurance for accessing the services of GRITS?
That's a good question. And in general, insurance coverage for dietitians are very limited, and that's why I came up with this idea. For instance, some like Medicaid, you have to have like CKD or certain really chronic conditions to get reimbursement, and it's really limited. So they can use their insurance, but if they don't have the insurance, that's fine, because we understand like a lot of dietitians don't accept insurance because the reimbursement rates are really non-existent in some areas. So yes and no. I can't hear you, Brand.
Sorry. Yeah, it sounds like there's a little bit of kind of going as you, seeing as you go, and working with different healthcare plans and different individuals. A couple questions about your operating model. So one, do you have operating cost projections at this point? And someone said, I noticed that you don't have a technical team. What is your plan to scale this?
So in relation to like costs, operating costs, we're basically being flexible with what we receive. So based on just throwing out a number, if we receive the 10,000 grant, that will be able to serve about 40 clients. So meaning, and we base that price on the average cost of a private practice dietitian. And so we hope, and that will be about one dietitian per 5 clients. So we hope to scale this to about 100 clients in the first year. And so that will be about $20,000 projection for the first year, just to be able to pay the dietitians. And what was the second question?
The second question said they noted that you didn't have someone on your team who was technical or back end, or someone who could kind of build the infrastructure behind this.
Yeah. So we don't have anyone technical right now. I have been using, because I'm the only dietitian as of now, I have been using a management software called Practice Better, and it has the capabilities of adding more dietitians, and it's more like it will be more like an EMR system. We can handle the scheduling, keep track of the notes, and it's all HIPAA compliant, and can also do the telehealth, so the virtual consults via that way as well. So there'll be like a management software that all the dietitians that we contract with can use, and we can kind of stay together with that software.
Got it. And then the last question was, what is your plan to reach out to marginalized communities or communities in food deserts?
My plan with that is also just getting out in the community. As I said, we are a community, and I see GRITS going out and doing brunch tours. in which we just go and educate the community about what grits is. We have free food, we have grits, and we just talk all things nutrition and just make it just a fun thing, because nutrition is fun. Like, food is part of our culture. So just really opening up to the community and educating them about our services, I think is the first thing, going out into those low income communities and being a face, because we aren't just behind the computers, you know, making meal plans. Like, I want us to be out there involved in the communities.
All right, that's it. You've done it. You've made it. Sade, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And with that, Sade, that is the final pitch of the night. Congratulations to everyone for their pitches. I cannot believe that was our first virtual pre-flight pitch night. I loved seeing all of you in the chat, sharing and talking and connecting. It really is powerful to see our advisors, our entrepreneurs, our alumni, our current program participants all together, supporting everyone who's in here, and as well as our staff. Thank you to so many of our staff who were able to be in here as well. This is the final slide that we have for you that has content on it. This is all the teams who presented tonight. I'm just going to shout them out one more time. College Leaps, Jersey Exchange, Pop, People on Purpose, Afro Drift, Fully, Grits, and Autism Possible Mission Control. Every one of you did an amazing job. 7 phenomenal presentations, and also different, right? So different and many, many scalable ideas. Good job to all of you. And just for the final bit of a note, again, thank you to our sponsors. I cannot say enough about how our sponsors are more than just, they don't just want their name on the slide. These are people who come to the building, they meet with advice, they meet and give advice to our entrepreneurs on phone calls, on Zoom calls. They really go out of their way to make sure that they are available and accessible for anyone who might need them. And that means so much to us. And then lastly, we have something coming up a week from tonight. It's new for us. It's something that we haven't tried before virtually. We have an event coming up called Pitch for Good. So 1 week from tonight, we have Pitch for Good Pandemic Edition. We are inviting 9 entrepreneurs to pitch their ideas that solve some aspect of the new world that we're in thanks to COVID-19. So whether that's solving the issues that families are facing doing home education, or solving some of the supply chain issues that have emerged from this, or just, you know, technology that allows for people to gather in groups but maintains their awareness of social distancing. So something that uses thermal technology to keep people 6 feet apart, what have you. So we are taking submissions right now. We are going to have 3 early stage companies, 3 companies that are sort of off the ground, and then 3 companies that are already deep into it. So you might think about companies that have existed for a while but are now pivoting to address some aspect of COVID-19. We have 3 celebrity judges that we're really excited about. Eddie George, formerly of the NFL, Roger Saffold, who's currently in the NFL, and then Colin Wayne, who, if you've not heard of Colin Wayne, his social media presence is unbelievable. And he was also named by Forbes 2 years ago as the most interesting millennial entrepreneur in the US. He is the CEO of Redline Steel. That's out of Alabama. So we're super excited for the judges. There'll be grants available, scholarships available, and Launch Tennessee will be there as well if you want to find out more about Launch Tennessee. It's going to happen in a Zoom room just like this. So we're really thrilled that that is happening, and shout out to our team who's been putting it together. If you'd like to submit, please do submit. I can put the link into, actually, Riley, would you mind putting the link into the chat for me so I don't have to dig around if you can find it? And then, oh, actually, I see Riley navigating. Riley, don't worry about it. It's on our website, ec.co. I'm just going to put it in here. We would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this, I think you're really going to enjoy that. The pitches are 1 minute, and the feedback will be pretty quick as well. All right. Anything else? Riley, am I forgetting anything? I hear nothing from the voice of God, aka Riley. Thank you all so much. Congratulations. Oh,
sorry,
Riley.
We will also be hosting Pre-Flight again, 14-week course. It will begin June 8th. And one special thing about this upcoming Pre-Flight cohort is that it will be completely virtual. So while this team has experienced the last 5 or 6 weeks or so of virtual content, our upcoming cohort will get 14 full weeks of virtual content. So we are super excited to be able to reach more people in even more situations than ever before. So if you're interested in Pre-Flight, you can also check out ec.co for more information on that as well.
Yes, if you know people who are outside of Nashville who have always wanted to do something like this, now's the perfect time to send them.
And I would love to thank Bryn Plummer for being an excellent MC tonight.
I'm very happy to do so.
Yes,
I
thanks,
cannot believe
Brynn.
my dog did not ruin this. I was certain that he would. Thank you all so much. Everyone, please be safe. And everyone take care of yourself. We cannot wait to see you back in the building again. Thank you all so much. Have a great night.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say you guys did an amazing job. That was
So
absolutely
good.
amazing. I mean, it was brilliant. That was just remarkable.
I'm not over people's pitches. Like, people's pitches got stronger from last night to tonight. I'm so impressed.
I know. It was crazy. I loved it. It was amazing.
Me too. There's something about virtual too where you get like a ton of participation from the audience that is just really someone said democratizing access to opinions, and it is really that, and also democratizing access to share praise. It's really lovely. I hope everyone goes back through the chat to see some of the comments that people sent. People have a lot
and
of
you
great
can
ideas.
save the chat too. Yeah, you can save
Yes.
the chat too. So if there's anything that you think you may have missed, you can go back through it. So
That's a great idea. And we did record this too. So we will have this as an asset for
Awesome.
folks.
Yeah, if anybody missed
Bryn, you did a
anything.
wonderful job. I mean, you did a
Thank
wonderful
you.
job emceeing. It was amazing.
Thank you.
You did
I
so
feel
good.
like I do my best work in this tiny screen.
Yeah,
That's
Brad,
us all,
you
honey.
were dope.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thanks, guys. Y'all are amazing. I cannot wait to see you again when the space starts to open up and we can all be in person. However we are in person, whatever that means for us, then I'll see you guys so soon.
Yeah. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you. You as well. Bye, Dr. T. All right. Thank you all so much for attending. I'm going to go ahead and close out this event. Thank you all so much for supporting our pre-flighters and for supporting the EC. Hopefully we'll see you again next week at the Pitch for Good Pandemic Edition event on Tuesday. Otherwise, have a great night, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.